Welcome to Wisconsin in Focus. I'm Bruce Walker, Great Lakes Regional Editor for the Center Square, and I'm talking with Benjamin Yount, who is our Wisconsin correspondent. You have filed a story. Wisconsin budget hearings see steady streams of people asking for, asking for more?
I know.
Not less?
It is one of the shocks of all shocks in state government that people think that the state of Wisconsin has more money to spend. Now, Wisconsin does have more money to spend.
Well, they do have a surplus, yes.
As we've talked about before, there is a $7 billion surplus here in the state of Wisconsin. A good chunk of that, almost all of it, is one-time money. So you spend it and you're done with it. And this budget surplus has in the minds of advocacy groups and the governor and lawmakers of both parties, it has been spent time after time after time after time. Well, we're going to spend it on schools. No, we're going to spend it on tax relief. No, we're going to spend it on expanding Medicaid. No, we're going to spend it on the people. And this is the middle step of our budget process. Wisconsin does a budget every 2 years. A biennial budget, if you're looking for the official word. And the governor proposes his plan. Then the legislature has what's called the Joint Finance Committee. It will do the actual writing. As soon as the governor introduced his plan, the Joint Finance Committee dismissed it, said, we're going to talk to the people, then we will write the budget. We are in that we're going to talk to the people stage. But there were two budget hearings this week, one of them up in Eau Claire, northwest Wisconsin, and the other at the Wisconsin Dells, south central Wisconsin. That, by the way, if you ever come to Wisconsin, is where you go to ride all of the water slides and the duck boats and get taffy and ice cream. And the theme developed fairly early when you had local official after local official and school official after school official and advocate after advocate come and ask for more. And it was one of the speakers who mentioned there is a reason why lawmakers have heard from 40% of the people who spoke to lawmakers are either teachers or school administrators or teachers union reps. Most of the conversation at these hearings is dedicated towards spending more money on public schools in one way, shape, or form. And Howard Markline, the senator who is the co-chair at JFC, summed it up pretty easily. He said, look, we've got to get a budget that works for the entire state. We've got to get a budget that is good not only this year, but next year and into the future. And this gets back to a state government budgeting 101 dilemma. When you have one-time monies, how do you spend them?
Right. Do you spend on the surplus, or do you have arguments over how much money is going to be spent and how much will be saved?
Yeah, and just like a household budget, if you've got one-time monies, it makes sense to do one-time projects. We're going to build a deck. You don't go and sign up for something that you have to pay for every single month. This is where Mark Line and his co-chairman, Mark Bourne, are. They want to use the surplus in a way that doesn't threaten the surplus. Because again, we had a report a couple of weeks ago on how if Wisconsin lawmakers and the governor aren't careful, that they could turn this surplus into a budget deficit. And the big ask from school leaders is two things. One, they want a $1,500 per pupil revenue increase. That means every kid in the state in a public school would be worth $1,500 more. That's not just one time, that's going forward. Outside of a per pupil increase, they want to raise the special education reimbursement rate from the current 27%, I know that number, to 90%. And that is, again, hundreds of millions of dollars that is not going to be paid just this year, but next year and the year after and the year after. And that's the concern from Republicans at the Capitol is we have this money and we're going to spend it on something. But let's not, they say, spend it on things that cost year after year after year after year, because that's how you take a budget surplus and turn it into a budget deficit. This is all in some ways perfunctory because the Joint Finance Committee knew it was going to get these requests. They listen. They don't say anything. They don't debate back and forth. Everybody has 3 or 5 minutes, whatever it is. And they say, thank you. And they go to the next person. And sometime next month, the lawmakers on the Joint Finance Committee will sit down and they will do the hard work of actually writing a budget, and they will present it to the governor, and it will be a take it or leave it proposition, because that's just kind of how the budgets work here. Governor has an incredibly powerful line item veto, but this budget is going to be written as part and parcel of you don't get to add, and we're not going to negotiate.
Well, anything else to add to this?
we're waiting to see just how big this budget is. The budget's currently $40-something billion a year. Governor Evers proposed an in total $109 billion. So he wants to take it from about 80-something billion currently to 100-something billion for 2 years. So we're waiting to see. It is going to be larger. The next state budget is going to be larger than the current one, but we don't know just how large it will be just yet.
Listeners can keep up with this story and more at thecentersquare.com. This is Bruce Walker, Great Lakes Regional Editor for The Center Square. Please subscribe and thank you for listening.